Hello. I am Dijonketchup. This is Fire and Ice. It is a video game for the Nintendo Entertainment System. There's exposition happening on the screen. But we can we'll skip all that. I'll just go. I think I have a thing. Oh. Oh. Okay. Fire and Ice. This time, hopefully without echo. And without my window accidentally making itself ridiculously large. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna just go ahead and start. 3, 2, 1, go! So this game has a story that is wrapped around by another story. So you are a novice wizard named Dana who is given the power of ice magic to defeat the evil wizard Druidal, who is taking over Coolmint Island with flames. The whole thing is a bedtime story being read to grandchildren by their grandmother. Also, if you're in Japan, this game is Solomon's Key 2. They didn't keep Solomon's Key 2 as the title when they localized it. Which, I can't say I blame them, because it probably sold better like this, although I don't know. I don't know how popular Solomon's Key was in 1993. But this is a great game. It's a puzzle platformer, and it's a 1993 release, so it's really expensive now. But for just $20 a year, you can play it on your Nintendo Switch. It is actually on the Nintendo Switch Online. Of all things. So, I would say you should play it sometime. Even if you watch this entire run, you're not gonna remember the solutions. I know, because sometimes I barely remember them, and I run this game. But yeah, so we're on World 1 out of 10. It's pretty simple, just kind of an introduction to the basic mechanics of the game, pushing blocks of ice, you know, creating and destroying ice, which only happens in a diagonal fashion. And, yeah, stuff happens, you defeat flames, and then every world has 9 stages and then a boss stage. So there's 2 types of boss stages going on. And I'm gonna already mess up and try again, because I decided I didn't need to actually fight the flame, I just needed to keep going. Running this game in a marathon is always interesting, because I'm talking at the same time I'm trying to think, and I can barely think as it is, so, yeah. We're on to World 2, and one of the fun parts of the aesthetic of this game is that the music changes in each world, the backgrounds change in each world, the flames change in each world. It's really cool. This game also has some, like, great music. The best song in the game is the map theme, but you don't get to hear it much because I just skip the map all the time, being that this is considered a speed run. It may not look like it sometimes when I mess up puzzles, but this is indeed a speed run. So the early worlds I can do pretty easily on autopilot. Yeah, this game has some great animations to it. Again, late era NES, so. So, this world gets you a bit more used to the mechanics of climbing. You can climb up a single tile at a time. But if you see a singular ice block, I mean, you obviously push it instead of climbing it. So it has to be at least, like, 2 blocks next to each other or a permanent fixture of the level. Otherwise, you will push it. You'll push it real good. So yeah. World 2, getting you real used to climbing. Which is, frequently used in this game, or so I hear. The first time I played this game was when it came out in '93. How old was I in '93? I was like 6 or 7, depending on what point in the year. I don't know. I rented it from Blockbuster, and I had fun with it, despite the fact that I couldn't really get very far because I was 6 and or 7. Replaying as an adult, I did a lot better. Still had to look up some solutions, because some of them just, like, are very... I don't know if obtuse is the word I would use, but not the easiest to see. Also, movement has a lot of optimization to it because it's a very tile-based movement. So you move like one tile at a time. But if you turn around, you'll press the direction button in the opposite direction you're facing, and you just turn. You don't move. So you want to reduce the number of times that you turn as much as you can. And here's the other type of boss level. So... dang it. Okay, so, hitboxes on the moving flames can be very picky. So yeah, the boss stages are either a bunch of flames on a moving, I was talking while trying to play again, and, that's what... Okay. I did it. Okay. I have to stop that thing from falling. There. I promise I've played this game before. So, boss level type 1 is... There's a layer of flames coming up from the bottom, and the stage will, like, keep shifting up a tile at a time. And then the other one has moving flames and or other enemies, which you'll see some of the other non-flame enemies later. But... So, as we move on through World 3, it starts to kind of explore the space a bit more. So as you can see, there's a lot more, like, moving around the whole stage and making sure you can navigate. And again, it just... the rest of the game builds on top of that. So... this is where you kind of have to start thinking a bit more about the moves you're making. Because it is very easy. Number one, if you haven't played the game and you don't know the solution, some of them can take a bit to figure out. If you're like me and you speedrun the game and know all the levels, you still have to keep in mind a thing known as order of operations. You may know that a lot of puzzles in a lot of puzzle games rely heavily on doing things, but not only that, doing them in the right order. There's a lot of doing things in the right order in this game, because you can easily trap yourself if you don't. Windows made a noise at me. It is an upside-down picture taking up like a quarter of my screen. Thanks, Windows. So as you can see, I'm going back and forth here just to get that one flame down where I can hit it. So, and here's a little thing I didn't know you could do. You can put a piece of ice through a corner like that. It took me forever to beat this stage, because it doesn't really explain that to you, and there's a couple things in this game that are sort of like that. But a common theme you can see here is making these 2-block wide ice pieces to act as a stair. That's a thing you gotta get real used to doing. Because again, if it's one tile of ice, you push it, and you don't climb it. Now, that block of ice at the top is a red herring. We're getting into some red herrings in this game. And we're on boss number 3, which is another racing against the climbing flames. Although, and if you're at the top, you have to wait for it to move, which is fun. And you can see, because of the way that the NES does its whole picture refresh, whatever, I forget what it's called. you have that line that's like always at the top, and it cuts off half of Dana, so that's fun. And we are moving on to the fourth world. And our new thing that's introduced is pipes. Pipes are a staple of many a puzzle game, such as the Bugs Bunny and Crazy Castle series. Also, flames can sit on top of a block of ice without damaging the ice or the flame. So, we've got more order of operations and making sure, like, for instance, it's real easy to push another ice block over and trap yourself from getting over. And the pipes get more and more complex, and order of operations gets a new operation to order, and that's going in the pipes correctly. I believe Danny Boy would be proud of my pipes that I'm... not gonna lie, I lost track of where I was going on that joke. But I didn't... Look, the important thing is I didn't mess up the stage. So, you have to do the pipes in the right order, or else you get stuck. And nobody wants to get stuck. I mean, presumably most people don't want to get stuck. I don't know, maybe you're into that. And if you are, this might... you know what? I'm gonna just not say words right now. And we're gonna enjoy this game. Because I have a tendency to ramble, if you haven't noticed, and we've got, like, 6 more worlds after this. So... Oh, here's another important thing the game doesn't teach you, is that you can climb up onto a pipe that is a tile above you. The game never explains this to you. You just kind of have to figure it out, and there's at least a couple of stages that require you to do that. When I was, playing this game as an adult, I had to look up the solution to that last stage, and, needless to say, I was kind of pissed when I found that out, because it's like, come on, game, like, come on. I don't even know if the manual mentions it. I haven't read the manual since, like... I mean, I don't know when the last time I read the manual was, but it was several years ago. So, this level is kind of fun. And you'll see what I mean, because, like, we've got all this going. And then, we have another red herring. That pipe in the top left, never use it. You don't need it. And I think it's cool that they put in things like this to, like, things like that to kind of throw you off a bit. This is one of the worst boss stages. Part of the reason why it sucks is because it's kind of long in the realm of boss stages, and it is real easy to mess up. Because you can kind of see the complicated measures that are involved with making so many ice blocks and just pushing them. But so far, so good. Alright. We're doing okay here. Alright. I did the important thing and remembered to make that block into a staircase. Also, it's... Okay, well, it would have been faster to do that, but I deleted the wrong ice block. Because as a piece of ice falls, which is a thing that I have not really explained much yet, much like how I said this game is based a lot on, like, tiles, it's also based a lot on not messing up. That's what it's based on. Now, it's also based on... I guess cycles is the best way of, putting it. Basically, while an ice block is moving, either you push it and it goes, or it falls. You stop being able to move. So, while a block of ice is falling, I can't move, so... there are times where making extra ice is preferable to letting a piece of ice drop all the way down, because it saves some time. But we're gonna have some more fun with pipes. So this one, you know, looks deceptively simple. You got 2 flames, but, yeah, being able to get to them is a bit tricky. That happens a lot in this game, mostly because it's a puzzle game. So, one thing I like about this level is you pretty much never go, like, to the far right. A lot of times you are given more space than you actually need. And that's another way the game can trip you up. But we're just getting more complex with our pipes. And, okay, so here's a very specific order of operations. You gotta open a hole, and then drop an ice block, then close the hole, make another ice block, push it over, open the hole again, and drop down. And then we're just gonna make a couple blocks here to get rid of those 2. And... a lot of weird pipes. And this is another kind of heavy on order of operations sort of level. And I don't think I did the most optimal solution here. Yeah, a lot, like, there's... How about not walking off the edge? Anyway, I messed up and then forgot what I was saying, so... video games, yeah! So... this is another silly little puzzle of having to go around and around just to get the flame and the ice into the right spot. Also, hi! Do you like pipes? Also, that first ice block that I put down over there is very important, because you need that to beat the stage, and you can't go back once you've left, because you need to be able to need that to be able to get back up. This is one of those levels that, took me a while to figure out. And we're just gonna... And remember the thing that I said earlier about being able to climb one tile up into a pipe? That's required here again. Again, game makes no effort to tell you about it, and I don't even know if it's in the manual, and if it's in the manual, you don't have the manual. You very likely do not have the manual. How much is a speedrun is intended solutions versus unintended solutions? So here's the thing. I don't know if anybody knows what intended solutions are. I don't know if there are quote-unquote intended solutions. It's a 1993 Tecmo NES game. Tecmo, you may also know, for making other video games. Yeah, pretty much that. If it beats the game, then it's intended. And so, our big new introduction on World 6 is jars. in their default state, you can walk across them. But as soon as a flame touches it, it lights on fire, and you can no longer touch it. And it'll also melt any ice blocks you try to push across it. So, the jars are used quite a bit, and they really affect, say it with me, order of operations. And speaking of order of operations, this is very much an order of operations necessary kind of level. Because you gotta be able to go over that jar a couple of times. And then go around. We're gonna excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And, okay, so this one's cool. I like this one. Well, okay, it's fire and ice. They're all technically cool. But, like, this, like, in the non-literal sense of the word. Because you're basically dropping stuff down, sacrificing the ice to make a little stairway to get that one little guy. And then we need to put a piece of ice here. It's a future tool that will help us later. It's a special tool that'll help us later. I messed up the quote from the meme, but you know what I meant. So, if you have a freestanding piece of ice, you can push another piece right next to it and create a 2 ice block. The two don't have to be connected, they can just be side by side. So we have to put one there from the other side to stop the other one. Anyway, here's a cool thing you can do with this game. The properties of the ice. If you have a long block of ice, if some of it falls on a flame, but the rest doesn't, the stuff that doesn't touch the flame survives and turns into smaller blocks. Which is pretty cool. It's, there's a lot of neat physics-y stuff to this game that, isn't like... Also, it's fun to, like, beat a level with Dana just hovering above certain doom. Okay, this is one of those levels that I have trouble remembering a lot. Oh, no, that's... No. I'm doing this in a profoundly over-the-top and non-optimal way, but sometimes I don't remember which blocks are the most optimal. Anyway, moving on. So this level actually does something neat that isn't used in any other level. You push this ice block there, you make another one to stand on, get rid of it, and then replace it with one that's stuck to the wall. Like, that's pretty neat, and as far as I know, no other level utilizes that. Or at least not in speed strats. Okay, so... we're getting more and more complicated with the boss stages. Also, as you can tell, these are not flames, per se. Also, guess what? I messed up. Nobody saw that. Oh, that's another thing. The cycles are kind of tight sometimes. Alright, come on. There. What I meant to do was this. Alright. Oh. So now we need to get some ice down there. So we get to do very complicated, again, climbing one tile into a pipe. And then we just gotta go here. It's an escort mission. We're escorting the ice all the way over. There. Alright. And we are moving on to World 7, which has the coolest flames with their sunglasses. And we are gonna be playing with jars a lot more in this world. As well as just other things. So, we're getting all sorts of mechanics put together here. And we're just gonna set this up. So we want to drop down, push that, and so that falls and creates a single block so we can push the other way. Heck yeah, physics. Also, this is the worst level in the entire frickin' game. I bet you can't guess why. Yeah. And I am very much not doing this in the most optimal way. Because, I mean, just look at how much ice there is. Tell me you can remember all of that all the time. Just... there's so much ice. But yeah, it's a very slow climb to the top. And there we go. Have fun remembering how that level went. So we need to make a bridge over, and to do that, we've got to set up a spot for us to actually start from. So all that to create this little bridge. This guy's in the way, so we're gonna kill it. And then we need to start this bridge all the way over, so you can just take some of that. And then we can get this little guy. And then we get to do more fun exploring of the space, and like, you get a lot of these levels that's like, oh, this is just one flame, this'll be a piece of cake, and then it's really not. And alright. So we're making some progress, right? We need some ice there. And then we need to make a little, ice platform. And then just gotta get rid of this guy so we can go up and move this ice around. But I know there's some people out there who are like, why would you speedrun a puzzle game if you know all the solutions already? Why is it fun? And, like, number one, don't be rude. Number two, I don't know, just, number one, I just really like this game. It's got a cool aesthetic. I didn't intend for that, cool pun, but, that one's free. You can have that one for free. And also, just, I don't know, knowing the solutions to puzzles and memorizing them and being able to do them, like, real fast is, I think it's fun. So we need a way to get back up, so we're gonna do that. So and boom. Yep, so there's a lot of order of operations going on in this world, and we get to a lot of order of operations stuff in this game, in the later part especially. But yeah, it's a shame that more people haven't played this game. Because, like I said, came out in '93, on the NES, so most people had moved on to other systems by then. And I think at this point we all know how a lot of games from like 93, 94 for the NES are... It is on the Nintendo Switch Online, yes. But yeah, so a lot of games from late NES are hard to find and expensive, and this is no exception. So when I was a kid, when our local Blockbuster was like getting rid of all their NES stuff, I bought the used copy of the game that they had. And I had it for ages, and then at one point I had to sell most of my old games, just, you know, for things like food, that kind of thing. You know, so, yeah, I no longer have my boxed copy of this game, and haven't for ages. It had the manual, too. The only thing is just had Blockbuster stickers on everything. Still probably worth a lot. I tell you what, though, when I had to sell stuff, it was not worth nearly as much as it is now. Same with my, like, complete in-box copy of DuckTales 2 for the NES. That, oh my god. I wish I had that. Because that's like 600 bucks now. And I really liked DuckTales 2. But I digress. We have a new mechanic, and it's the black ice blocks. They are indestructible. You can destroy all the flames you want with it. You can't get rid of it. But if you get it stuck in a corner, then it's just stuck. I did that wrong, but it's fine. We're fixing it. It's fine. Dang it. I went a little too far, and... what I meant to do was that. Yeah, just reading the chat, I fortunately have never been, like, truly homeless, but there were definitely some times throughout college that I wasn't entirely sure how I was gonna pay for rent and food, hence the selling of the games when they were worth much less than they are now. But anyway, less depressing. This world, World 8, is the world that I affectionately call the Flannel Cat world, because the background is, like, I'm pretty sure she owns, like, 3 or 4 shirts with that same pattern. Because flannel. So, yeah, shoutouts to Cat. She's cool. But yeah, we've building a little weird little tower here around the pipes. But, you know, luckily, the most expensive NES games that I used to own are, maybe not super cheap these days, but, you know, if we're not talking about, sailing the high seas, which legally I, cannot say one way or the other whether you should. I mean, this is on Nintendo Switch Online, which is $20 a year. And, DuckTales 2 that I used to have is part of the Disney Afternoon Collection, which is like, I think it's like, either it's like 15 or it regularly goes on sale for like 15, and it's on like Steam, Xbox One, and PS4, and I'm not saying that I've bought it on all three of those platforms, but it goes on sale quite a bit, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. Which, a completely unrelated note, if you don't have the Disney Afternoon Collection or the games contained within, you should buy that. It's really good. And each game has its own built-in speedrun mode and boss rush mode. I'm advertising other games during a run of a completely unrelated game, but you know what? We have to kill time because this is a long boss level. I trapped that little guy down there, and you might be thinking, hey Dijon, why didn't you just drop a piece of ice on him? Well, number one, I know this game better than you probably, so stop acting so smug. Second, that umbrella is not just for show. You cannot drop anything on top of that. So you have to get it from the sides. Get this bat out of the way. And if I'm okay, so just disclaimer, I wasn't actually calling anybody smug. I just I have a weird sense of humor. But also, look how fucking ridiculous this stage is. So, yeah, it's still not the worst boss level. That's still that one earlier. I think it was World 4. I don't know. Sometimes a lot of these stages and bosses, I don't remember which one is in which order. I just know how to do them. Also, this is an incredibly easy and simplistic level for World 9. And it gives the vibes that it was supposed to be a lot later, or a lot earlier in the game. But I don't know. I don't remember the Disney Afternoon Collection disappearing, but there was a period where DuckTales Remastered was delisted, and thankfully WayForward was able to get that back up, because DuckTales Remastered is another game that I run, and it's also absolutely amazing. And, like, if you're a fan of the show, you should play it, because it's very much a love letter to the original series, and is like the last DuckTales thing featuring the voices of Alan Young and June Foray and Russi Taylor. Which, kinda doesn't bode well for ever getting a DuckTales 2 remastered, but, I mean, the fact that DuckTales Remastered came out in 2013, and there's still not a DuckTales 2 remastered is also a pretty good sign. Not to mention an entirely new DuckTales series coming and going in that time, which I have not watched yet. I have been meaning to. It is on Disney Plus. I'm not advertising for Disney Plus because it's Disney. Wait, no. Yeah, one thing I've heard about the new DuckTales that's pretty great is they basically created a Disney afternoon cinematic universe. Yep. I am... Okay, so... I'm mixing this up with... something... else. I'm mixing this solution up with another level, and I need to start over. Yeah, I've heard Disney has been doing some interesting things with their animated shows and like moving them around all the time and just like not really giving them their proper but yeah. Disney Plus is nice, but yeah, they're missing some shows, which I mean, some of them are like big enough shows that you have to wonder like why. Yeah, some of the voice actors had already passed away before DuckTales Remastered was made, but yeah. They got a lot of the original cast. But yeah, I could talk like extensively about like the Disney afternoon and stuff. But there's a lot of like more obscure Disney shows that are not on Disney Plus that really should be. And again, I'm talking while trying to play, and so I'm messing up. But it's fine. It's fine. But, like, of all things, like, Why is the Disney Afternoon Aladdin series not on Disney Plus? Like, you'd think that would be one of the first things they would put on there. What am I doing? There. To be fair, this is one that I'd have trouble remembering the exact order, even when I'm not talking, so... Also, Disney Plus, please give me raw tunage on your service. Thank you. Please and thank you. I mean, I'm fairly certain I know why raw tunage is not on there. Because, it's probably the rights to Marsupilami. Marsupilami is like I think it's Brazilian, cartoon, comic, something, that Disney, like, licensed and was gonna, like, make a big movie out of, and then, things like The Little Mermaid blew up, and Disney kind of, put that on the back end, and, eventually they just, stuck it as a short segment in, raw tunage, which... highly underrated show, but also, probably underrated because, 95% of people don't know it exists. But... That's the show where they introduced Bonkers before he was a cop. But it was a cool show. It was a Saturday morning show on CBS back in those days before Disney... Yeah, it was supposed to be Roger Rabbit, but that's a licensing, that's a license and a half right there. Damn it! Yeah, Roger Rabbit, the movie itself, is a licensing nightmare. Like, they had to make sure that Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny appeared the exact same amount in that movie, like, down to the frame. Yeah. And then Bob Hoskins did the Mario movie. Okay, so I have to push that one down real early, because... So, the way these flames coming up from the bottom work, they don't affect blocks of ice you already have sitting on there, but if you put a block down And, if you put a block down on top of that level, it'll melt instantly, so it's not great. I need to push that block down there, but I have to do it on a tight timer before, the flame blocks get to that level. Or else, I have to go through a whole other loop. Alright, we're on World 10, which is emerging out of the ground right now. So World 10 is our final world, so we're down to the home stretch. And I'm actually, pretty well underestimated right now, so... Yeah, that's why, that's why they use, like 555 numbers and things now. Although some of them still turn out to be real. It's, I was there, no one's told me, it's a bit crackly. Okay, I don't know. I don't know if that's on my end, and no one's pinged me about it, so we're just gonna... We're just not gonna worry. It's also entirely possible that it's because, my, computer's CPU is, much older than my graphics card. And so... Sometimes I, like, get to the end of, round 10, and 10-1, and I sit there like a dork because I forget about the one, all the way over there. So, yeah. World 10 has some pretty long stages, and it's chaining together everything that you've learned. This stage is boring. Like, it's not really difficult, it is just long. Much longer than it needed to be. And the trick to it is you gotta remember to hit that block right, that black ice block right over there. So, yeah. Like, it's pretty obvious at this point what the solution is, but you just gotta keep going and doing it. And there we go. That level is over a minute long. This is another long level. There's a lot of setup to it, but it's not boring like that last level was. Don't mind me, I just... had to think for a moment there, because I was doing something wrong and I wasn't sure what, and as it turns out, it was that. But it's fine, I saved it, we're good. Everything's fine, nothing is ruined. So, this level is long because it's got a lot of setup to it, but again, it's less boring than that last level was. So, let's see. Alright. So we had to create all of that so that we could climb back up here. Because this one's got to be last, because you cannot get out of here once you've taken care of it. I also love how you can tell that the boss music and the, like, ending, like, fanfare for the stage share some of the audio channels on the NES. Because you can hear part of the music, like one of the quote-unquote instruments in the music just cut out when you complete one of these stages. Which, yeah, World 10 has the boss music for all the levels, which, you know, it's a pretty good tune. But this is a fun level with a fun solution to it. And we've got to get some ice down here because we do not want to set that jar on fire. But we do need to lower this guy. We're almost done with this stage. That was not the most optimal solution, but I kind of messed up a bit. But it's fine. We got there in the end. I'm not going for a world record here, so that's all that matters. Also, yeah, part of the music cuts out. That's a pretty quick level. This is a tedious level. And So, to be able to do this correctly, you have to set this up in such a way that we need to stick that block to the wall, which is just silly, in order to get everything where you need it. And this maneuver, you're gonna see several times here because, well, I mean, you can kind of see where this level is going here. But anyway, this is just a lot of this, slowly building a bridge to this one flame. But also, you have to make sure that you're not trapping the blocks, and if you're, you know, say, playing this on autopilot when you're speedrunning, it's real easy to mess it up. Don't ask me how I know. Instead, you should ask Disney to put, the Schnookums and Meat Funny cartoon show on Disney+. If anybody here remembers that show, I don't have a prize I can give you, but you can have an imaginary prize. You can have my utmost respect. Like, Pith Possum Super Dynamic Possum of Tomorrow. Who likes pipes? We're back at the pipes. We got pipes. I always try to take that block away, and that's not what you want to do. So, this part is just kind of funny. Funny to me, anyway. I don't know why it would be funny. It amuses me. Like Joe Pesci in Goodfellas. No, wait, I want to go back this way. Remember what I was saying earlier about order of operations? I did an order of operations. So, this game was made by Tecmo, which I frequently mix up with Kemco. Which Kemco made Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle, which was a Roger Rabbit game in Japan, but they didn't have the Roger Rabbit license in the US. But also, that game also has a lot of pipes. So we're just gonna get set back up to the point that we were at before I mysteriously had to mysteriously reset the level, and only this level. That's so weird. Okay, so we got a stack of ice blocks. You get an ice block, you get an ice block. And finally, you get an ice block. Speaking of ice blocks, okay. And we gotta put that there. And then we gotta drop one down here. And we're gonna push this over, so now we have a staircase to climb back. And for a moment, we're gonna stop playing Fire and Ice and play Angry Birds. And we Angry Birds pretty good right there and got the flame. That was probably a pig. I don't know. And again, this one has to go last, because there's no way back from there. Okay. So we had to make sure that this stayed as a staircase while also... Actually, no, I didn't want to... Doot. Gotta drop a lot of ice. And then... Okay. So, this little corner here is a bit annoying at times, but... You know, it's, There we go, and we've got our way back up. This run is live, but I am pre-recorded. I don't know what that means. And we want to drop that one down on that jar. We don't need to walk on that jar. And it's about, I don't even think the world record is sub 1 hour at this point, unless somebody submitted a run in the last couple of months that I wasn't aware of. Which, by the way, I do not have world record on this. That requires a lot of memorization that I'm bad at, as you can tell from, I mean, everything you've been watching. And we gotta go around so we can actually get to these flames. Alright. We're hitting 10-10, which is the least climactic final level ever. Yeah. Alright, so that's 10-10, and the final boss, and time is gonna be once the final boss is defeated. These flame cycles are... Yeah, so he does that. And the timer is pretty tight, so I'm gonna play it safe. But... Ooh, just barely got that cycle. I played it kind of risky there. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it requires 5 hits. So, I'm just gonna sit here and wait for the flame to go by, and just casually duck under it. Ah! And, again, just gonna be safe. And... time. And that was Fire and Ice. Accompanied by a lot of random conversation about Disney for some reason. Well, I went a few minutes over, but it's fine. But yeah. So, yeah, I'm Dijonketchup. If you want, you can follow me at Dijonketchup on Twitch. Sometimes I play video games. I don't know. This is the end of the story. And here's plenty of rooms we never saw because of skipping cutscenes.